So today the question I want to answer relates to the four paths in the sanctification trail. Specifically, I want to talk about the roots of tribulation and also the soul soil that leads to tribulation. And the reason why this is an important question to address is because many times in our classes or in our workshops or lectures, we talk about these are the three roots to tribulation. These are the causes of tribulation. This is the core cause of tribulation. And sometimes when we say that, we say the three seeds, and sometimes we say the soul soil. It can be confusing. So it's good for you to understand where we're coming from and to clear this up. And so the question I got was, what is the difference between soul soil that leads to tribulation and the three seeds that lead to tribulation? Are they the same thing? And I'll add on to that, what are the roots of tribulation? Because that's a common Rhema saying. What are the roots? These are the roots of tribulation. The root of tribulation. We can find the root to tribulation. That kind of thing. So, soul soil is a Rhema term, and it basically describes the content and the character of your soul. The focus habitually of your soul. So when we talk about soul soil, it's like the soil in a garden. What type of soil is it? What quality of soil? Is it regularly fertilized soil? Is it soil that's been worked over and turned over? Is it ready for abundance? And if so, abundance for what sort of plants, fruits? Exactly that. One of the things that you might notice about Rhema Institute is that we have a tree. A small tree is our logo. Usually right around there in the corner. This tree is a symbol of something growing in our soul soil and then eventually having leaves and fruit. And so this idea of soul soil is extremely important because the question becomes, what sorts of seeds does your soul soil nurture? Does your soul soil nurture bad seeds that cause tribulation? Or does your soul soil nurture good seeds that spring forth the fruit of the Spirit? And so a lot of times when we say the roots of tribulation, we're not talking so much about the soul soil, but the seeds that take root in that soil. However, I wouldn't be surprised if I used it interchangeably because it's very likely that it happened or happens once in a while. Now, soul soil at the end of the day is where everything starts. It is truly where all the things that grow in your life begin. Because it's, again, answering the question, what sort of seeds take root best in your life, in your soul? And so the three main causes to tribulation as related to your soul soil are a victim identity, an orphan mentality, and then finally, self-focus. Self-focus being probably where it all begins there. But self-focus, orphan mentality, and a victim identity. These are the three traits of bad soul soil. And so these three traits very easily harbor seeds that root and cause tribulation. And so then let's move to the three seeds. What are the three seeds that take root in bad soul soil and sprout up and cause tribulation? Those three seeds are ignorance. Ignorance being we don't know that everywhere around us we're on a sanctification trail and there's trials and tests and tribulations. Ignorance. Ignorance of the situation. Ignorance of a loving Papa God. Ignorance, everywhere. Ignorance. A lot of times, MPs and FPs are struggling and suffering because of ignorance. Especially FPs, these are faith people, people that are saved from hellfire and brimstone, but who go through the sanctification trail without even really understanding or realizing that they're on it. They're not Ramites, they're saved. And so their tribulations are usually pretty intense. Another one is the opposite of the open hands. In Rhema we have what we call the open hands. And that's just to say, whatever God gives us, we steward with open hands. He can put here, He can take away. The opposite of that is clutching. And that is another of the three seeds. Clutching. Clutching is superimposing good traits, good qualities onto someone or something. Finding hope in that. Thinking, if this relationship is something I can just get or just change, or if I can just get this person, or if I can keep this child in this way, or if I can just get $1 million, it's clutching. No, God, no, I got it. No, stay away, everyone. Get away. Clutching. It's another of the three seeds. And the final seed of the three would be fanger, which I always smile when I say, because it sounds a little bit like a cartoon character, but it's quite the opposite. Fanger. Fanger is a word, a Rhema word, obviously, to describe a 1-2 progression. It's a sequence of events. So it's sort of like someone who habitually hits 2 keys on a keyboard. The first key is fear, and that fear leads to a progression. It leads automatically to another key, which is anger. Fanger, fear and anger. So the third seed is someone who habitually falls into fear and anger, that process, not just fear, not just anger, but a fear-anger process, fanger. And it's very similar to the clutching mentality, which, by the way, you can see fear, anger, clutching, they're very similar to an orphan mentality. The orphan being, I'm going to fight for my own and I'm going to keep everyone away. The orphan mentality. Yeah. So that's the real difference. And knowing that is important, because it's true that in workshops or even the certification classes, lectures, we will be covering many things. And many times, especially on the certifications, we'll be covering much deeper things than this surface level that I'm talking about now, and that I talk about in these free videos, just how it works. So it's important to know the difference inherently between soul soil and the three seeds now, so that if we are deeper, much deeper, and I or someone else just mentions, oh, it's because of the roots of tribulation, which is clutching and fanger and all that, then you'll immediately know he's talking about the three seeds. Whereas I can totally see if there's deep things happening, deep conversation going on, someone might say, oh, that's because you are going back to self-focus, which is where everything starts. Or they could say the roots of tribulation, which are self-focus and victim mentality and orphan identity and all this stuff. And so to know the difference, to know inherently what those two are, is important. So soul soil, the type of soil that grows the seeds, a negative soul soil being self-focus, a victim identity, or an orphan mentality. And honestly, an orphan identity and a victim mentality and all that stuff it's very similar. Okay, we're just playing with words at that point, but you understand those are the three characteristics of soul soil that breeds tribulation. Self-focus, I'm only thinking about me. I'm only thinking about what I want or what happened to me, and we're separate from each other. I'm just thinking of me, not you. I'm not acknowledging that we're both sons and daughters of God. I'm not even acknowledging that I'm connected to God so much, and that I'm only thinking of that in terms of what I want. I'm self-focused. Victim identity being, I am a victim. I am a victim. I am a child of God. Maybe they'll say that, but they are a victim. That's how they identify. And a victim can do great, great damage because they feel justified. They feel like it's okay if they can get their own. They can get their revenge. They can get whatever they want because they're a victim. And the last one being the orphan mentality, the orphan identity. Don't get tripped up over those words. And the orphan is just someone who fights for their own. Very similar to self-focus, very similar to clutching. The orphan says, I am going to get this on my own. God doesn't provide for me. God is not a God of abundance. I don't trust him. I have to get my own. Now, partnering with God sometimes means you have to work. You have to work and make and get. But it's never just your own. A son or a daughter acknowledges that they have a covering from a loving God. And then moving on to the three seeds that cause tribulation, just as review. Three seeds are clutching, the opposite of the open hands, and the mature form of clutching is idolization. Clutching leads to idolization. Ignorance of tribulation all around us. Tribulation that comes to us even if we do nothing because we're on a sanctification trail. Ignorance probably is one of the biggest problems for people who are saved. And some people spend their entire lives in this ignorance. So we have ignorance, we have clutching, and we have Fenger, fear and anger, that progression, that relationship. These are the 3 seeds. Soul soil, self-focus, orphan mentality, identity, victim mentality, identity. And then the 3 seeds, clutching, ignorance, and Fenger. So that's the difference. You see how one allows the other. It's the gateway for the other. Which one is the root of tribulation? You could say either one, honestly, but know the difference. So in Rhema, we focus on the roots, we focus on the fruits, and we focus on the soil. From that grows a beautiful tree with the spirits, the fruits of the Spirit. That's all for today. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.